Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of my wonderful and beautiful little subscribers out there. And how I love you all so, and I hope that you're all super duper well, super duper wonderful, and super duper delicious. And that life is treating you most deliciously wherever you are in the world. Now then, I would say 3, 2, 1 with my juice little hearts, but seeing as some, there we are, cannot see, I just thought, well, I'll just leave my lights indoors, do you know what I mean? But we've got sunny shining, weather is sweet, yeah, make you wanna move. There we are. Okay, my delicious babies. Okay, that doesn't mean no. Now then, yeah. So I've slightly changed my hairdo today, so I'm back in the world of the living, the land of the living. So my hair's been dyed today, and I decided to do it down the centre. Does anybody ever remember? Du-du-du-dum, 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 du-du-du-dum. Is it the Addams Family, my delicious babies? Because that is what I feel that we are dealing with right now. Okay? You know, it's like it's party down the centre. Now then, my delicious babies, you know, with 4-pointer, I use Olay. It's Olay. And it is not Ammonia. And it's Garnier. Okay? So, yes, there we are. I will advertise them. And I'm actually using Garnier coconut shampoo. So, yeah. Okay, my delicious babies. Now then, just needed to, doesn't mean no, just needed, there we are, to straighten a few things out. Now then, isn't it? Yes. Now then, we've still got the large fences behind me. Won't be for long. Won't be for long, my delicious babies. Okay, yes. Now then, I was sorry, and I hope that you're all super duper well wherever you are in the world, my little beautifuls, and that life is treating you most deliciously wherever you are. Okay. Yeah, it's about 3:40 now in the afternoon in our old England, as you can see. Yeah, there are still some clouds, but it is rather hot, so I thought, there we are, you know what I mean? I'm just gonna, come out and do a video, my delicious babies, yes. Okay, that doesn't mean hair's getting in my face. Anyway, my delicious babies, so I was writing down a video, that I'd looked at a few days ago. And when I was writing it down, an ex of mine from decades ago who's no longer here, he came straight, there we are, in my birth race. Not in that way, not in that way. It's not very often that he makes an appearance. But there we are, he did. And for once, I actually, not in that way, not in that way, I actually smiled. I said, yes, thank you. There we are. And I'm going to read it out to you, my delicious babies. So this is the first video. So this uploader happens to have 2.02 million subscribers, my delicious babies. So there we are. So rather large, actually, rather large. On old YouTube, my delicious babies. So in the old search engine, that doesn't mean no, okay? In the old search engine, all in capitals, T, E, then a space, capital G, and the rest is lowercase, garden. Okay, my delicious babies. So it should read T-E-R space garden. That's the upload of my delicious babies. Okay, that sun is really beating on my back. There we are. It is delicious. Absolutely. When we get sunshine. Now, the video should read, I started with nothing. Yeah, that's when I had my ex from decades ago, happened to be, what was it, twice over millionaire. Anyway, my babies, I started with nothing. Now I have more strawberries than I can eat. Look at that. And he came straight as I was writing it down. He came straight in front of my bird trace. Look at that. Look at that. You see, I was only very young then, you know. But it's not a situation I would have wanted to go in anyway. Sometimes, you know, if somebody wants what they want, you know, they will go to, there we are, great lengths, there we are, to get what they want, weren't they, Martin, the sugar babies? Yes. Anyway, but it's just so amazing. Now, usually, if on occasion he does come into my bird race, I usually tell him to F off nicely and get on his bike and pedal fast, whether he would have been here or whether he would have been in spirit, which he is. Do you see what I mean, Marge, babies? But on this occasion, I thought, no, I'll let you off. There we are. I'll let you off with this one. Because he knows, there we are, what I'm talking about. You see what I mean, okay? Anyway, my delicious little babies, so that's the first one. Now then, my delicious little babies, you know, he soon found out. Now then, there we are. Who's the smart one? There we are. Okay, my delicious little babies. Now then, finally, so we have, now, I actually heard this on our lovely, and with anybody not in that way, our lovely UK column, and they actually showed, you know, UK column news on old YouTube, but the best place to get them is our lovely UK space column on their actual website, because you can actually, you know, have a membership, or, you know, whatever you would like to do, or maybe purchase something from their shop. You see what I mean, okay? But they're getting some banging. Honestly, it's just, there we are, superb. It's just getting better and better. You know what I mean? And they have somebody called not in that way. They have, not with anybody. They have somebody called Germ. He's called Germ, and he interviews. He's South African. He interviews different guests. I'll tell you what, absolutely banging. You know what I mean? I mean, of course, that doesn't mean just my hair's just getting in my birth race. I've got to be honest with you. I'll always put a like, and I'll always put, you know, thank you, dear UK column, and God bless to you all. I'll always put that, okay? Well, that doesn't mean, again, my hair's just getting in my birth race. I'm not allowed to do it at the moment till midnight tonight. They've told me that I cannot comment, so I've received another message, so I cannot do any comments, not even to say thank you. Apparently, it is harming, there we are, other YouTuber, there we are, communities, apparently. What, just by putting thank you and blessings or God bless. Whenever I say God bless, my delicious berries, why do I have to feel the need to keep repeating my damn self now? I mean, our own dear giddy God within. I'm not going to go to no church and get on my knees and pray, isn't it? Do you see what I mean? I did it a few times decades ago, you know, when you go, there are blessings to a funeral or something. Yes, a service. Very sadly, and you get on your knees and pray. But those were the decades where they had Bibles, you know, that was on each seat. They don't have them now, Martish babies. They've moved out all the old church, wooden, the beautiful church things, seating, usually very long. And then they've moved them, Martish babies. Do you see what I mean? Okay. And then they replaced it with these cheap and nasty now little plastic flipping, metal flipping, whatever they are, chairs, okay, because it's what these who run the world, clearly they must be feeling, there we are, that way in their life, because they want everything damn well effing square now, isn't it? Anyway, but let me get back to the matter in hand. So, yeah. So, you know, as far as I'm concerned, you know, I'm just, there we are, done saying what I'm saying. I do not always agree, and I'm going to be honest, on, you know, like to do with diet, there we are, dietary and things like this now then. And I'm not really so very trustworthy are doctors or nurses. No, I am not. Okay. So as far as I'm concerned, there we are. I spent most of my time, there we are, out of it. There we are. So therefore, I do not mean this in a nasty way. Oh, how I love little cows. It's a figure of speech. You know, I ain't no cash cow. You know what I mean? So therefore, I'm not just going to keep going and begging. Do you know what I mean? For medication that I certainly do not need. Do you see? Anyway, my delicious little babies. So yeah, I was listening, but yeah, so I'll always listen and I'll always put a thank you, you know, but there's certain videos with anybody, you know, don't go down this road with myself now because I know how to break. There we are. Fungal. I know how to, there we are, break it down in my own body now. There we are. Do you see what I mean? There we are. Oh, yeah. Even though the sun is beaming, I still went cold across my shoulders. So I know how to break it down. Do you see what I mean? So, you know, I may start to listen to something and then just switch off from it. But then there's all other videos that, there we are, that we'll listen to. Because you must remember that everybody, there we are, feels that they're correct, isn't it? Okay. And we must still keep in our thoughts Rainer, what's his name? Mitch, who's still in a place, and Robert Young, the doctor. One is a solicitor, a lawyer, and the other one is a doctor, and they're somewhere else at the moment, okay, because it appears that certain, there we are, not wanting, there we are, to get the voices out, it seems, my delicious little babies, yes. Anyway, fact of the matter is, there we are, there's always somebody else, another man who can. There we are, old-fashioned saying, my delicious little babies. So if one cannot do it, there we are, then somebody else can. That's what you say. You get another man who can. There we are. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies? Yes. But eventually, who are doing this, there we are going to need, there we are, to surrender. Do you see what I mean? Because at the end of the day, ones cannot carry on in this, I've just got a format, cannot carry on in this, there we are, in this format. That's the words I just got. That's the word I just got, a format. Anyway, my delicious baby, so this uploader here happens to have 651,000 subscribers, my delicious babies, on old YouTube, my delicious babies, okay, yes. Now then, yesterday evening, or was it the early hours of this morning? There we are, could have been the early hours this morning. They had 641,000 subscribers, so it's gone up a bit, okay? Blessings. Now then, this uploader, and like I say, with anybody not in that way, okay? Well, this is lowercase. This is the uploader, my delicious little babies. Lowercase J, Jeffo, so, and that's all lowercase. JEFFO STROFF. So it should read Jeffo Stroff. Now, for some of the alternative media, you may have heard about him, but me, myself, personally, yeah, I feel that some of you have. Sometimes when I advertise something, I say, oh, you would have heard it. I don't get anything. Okay, so that usually means no. But on this case, I feel, there we are, that some of you have heard of him. Jeffo Stroff, okay? And he's the uploader on our old YouTube in the old space. But I'm Mardish Babies. Now, this is only hours long, Mardish Babies, so it's not long being uploaded. And it should read, what caused Air India? What caused Air India 17, sorry, stumbled there, reason why. 171 crash. Mysterious sound before impact. Okay, my delicious baby, so I'm just going to repeat that again for you, shall I? What caused Air India 171 crash? Mysterious sound before impact. Yes, my delicious little babies, I'm going to go back to our lovely, oh gosh, I have to keep going backwards, see what I mean, my delicious little babies. I will go back to what I wanted to say, okay? You probably feel, oh, there we are, I'm a little bit, here and there. No, I'm not. I'm meant to, there we are, do it the way I'm meant to do it, okay? I'm making a point of what I'm doing. Now then, my delicious little babies, this isn't very long. I forgot how many minutes now. I watched it, was it the early hours of this morning? And what's happened is there's been a crash. Now, I'd like you just to please pay attention to, I mean, some would say it's 747, but this is 171. Okay, so 171 comes to 9, which usually, there we are, means completion. Okay, 747, well, 714, 7 and 7 is 14. Okay, plus 4, that makes 18. You break it down, there we are, still comes to 9, my delicious babies, there we are, which is completion. Now, apparently, there are so many of these planes that have been made, and really, to tell you the truth, there's no problem with them. Okay, there we are. They do have a, there we are, a very good, there we are, track record. Okay. What I found very fascinating, there we are, about this video is that the one, let's just draw a line, the one down the centre, the one who seemed to have escaped, see, stumbling again, mad, the one who seemed to have, there we are, escaped, from what I could see on this video, mad, babies, he was around 45, well, that comes to 9, doesn't it, mad, babies, and he was seated in, there we are, in 11A. Now, I deal with, there we are, numbers, there we are, long time, there we are, over years, okay? Anybody who's been so very kind enough, so thank you for any views, for any likes, for the occasional comments. Well, before I ever joined YouTube, okay, I was, there we are, into numbers, there we are, long time, numerology. Now, getting back to your man here now then. So on this video, he's wearing a white t-shirt. On this video, he seemed to have escaped, like this plane blowing up, which ones could only see from a distance. And it was all in ham in pieces. There we are, bits and pieces. And he was sat in 11A. Well, if you look at the numbers, 1, 1, and then A in numerology is number 1. So that comes to 3. Yeah. Do you follow what I'm saying to you, my delicious babies? Then they shown where he's in the hospital, he's got a battered face, battered face. See the page wants to turn. You see what I mean, my delicious babies? Maybe we're going to hear, there we are, the next installment. Did you hear what I just said, Mad? There we are, Mad babies. That's what I just got, installment. So, a very interesting video there we are to listen to, Mad babies, yes. So that's all the videos for today. There's nothing else to talk about today. I just thought I'd mention it. But yeah, looking at, I started out with nothing. Now I have more strawberries than I can eat. Let's just go backwards, shall we, my delicious babies, to where things began. I mean, if you go back years ago and then you see, ones, there we are, who were talking about things now. Now, for myself, like I said, if I had started out on YouTube years ago, I would have done it, but something just said no at the time. But if I'd have started out years ago, there we are, then my name would have been out there. But you can be rest assured, there we are, before I even say it, there we are, my name is already out there. Do you see what I mean? Because ones who are meant to listen will listen, and ones who are meant to see will see. There we are. Okay, my delicious babies. But this is not about myself wanting, there we are, to be in the front now. No. That's not what I'm about, Madeline babies. I just, there we are, just like to sit in the background. Do you see what I mean, Madeline babies? There we are, yes. And then we just see where everything goes. You know what I mean, Madeline babies, yes. I've already been hearing as well about because there appears to be, and for myself, I do not have anything against any culture, any nation. However, I would absolutely adore, there we are, and want our countries, there we are, to remain the way they are. So if you have, sorry, excuse me, millions, that doesn't mean millions of, say, Muslims, okay, and you want them all to follow suit in every country. Well, the fact of the matter is, Martinish babies, why must they inflict their culture, there we are, onto ourselves? I'm just not getting that part. So there we are. So correct me if I'm wrong. Now, just let you know my video from yesterday that actually took, there we are, 24 hours, there we are, to load. There we are. So I just thought I'd just mention that, mad babies. It was about, yeah, it's between 23 and 24 hours to load. So this one now will probably take, there we are, another X amount of hours to load, mad babies, can. Yes. But we should not have to have Sharia law, what they practice in a Muslim, whether that be, what do they call it, hijabs, or, you know, because ones who want to do that, there we are, bless them, and I do know plenty, bless their beautiful dear little souls. So they would know anyway that I do not mean this personally. There we are, they would know that, okay? And I've known, there we are, for decades now. If that's how they choose to live, bless their beautiful dear little souls, that's how they choose to live. If they want to have their head covered or whatever, you know, you hear on other videos over months and months, there we are, in years and years, where they just want to feel the wind in their hair. Do you see what I mean? Okay. So everybody, there we are, has a different let's just say feeling about what's going on. But for myself,